by the Dutch in 1776, and it was built exclusively for the slave trade. As you can see downstairs, they built many cells where they used to keep the slaves. So men, women, children, everybody was put in separate cells, while upstairs was the guest house. And it was reserved for the slave buyers coming from Europe, from the Caribbean, from South America, exactly, with their boat, just to get some slave from here and leave this place and go back.
So the top part was the
guest house.
Guest house for the
And this was for the slaves, yeah.
But then, did they have doors?
Yeah, all these cells used to have doors.
I mean that.
And the doors were made of wood and iron. All of them.
Also they removed.
Yeah, they removed them. Yeah. This first room here used to be called the weighing room, weighed as body weight, because inside this room they used to have a big scale which was located in, and that scale was used to weigh all the male slaves who used to come to this house. The reason why they were weighing them is to see if they were 60 kilos or not, because 60 kilos was the minimum body weight required for a man to be qualified to be sold overseas. If they were 60 and up, they were automatically qualified to go. But if they were less than 60 kilos, they used to keep them in a special cell in this house called the temporary unfed cell. And they used to keep them in that cell for 3 months to feed them, that way they can get a maximum of weight in a minimum of time. Yeah. So women were chosen depending on their age and also their ability to have children. Concerning young girls, their prices were depending on their virginity. Their virginity was very expensive. In fact, all the young girls who used to come to this house, they used to first check them inside here to see if they were virgins or not. If they noticed they were virgins,
why do they want virgins?
I'll tell you the reason why. So if they were virgins, they had a special cell reserved for nothing but the virgin young girls. If they were non-virgins, they used to throw them to the women's cell. Now concerning children, they were not strong enough to do any type of works in the field, so they used to exchange them for some little items like a child for a bottle of rum, or a child for a mirror, or a child for a necklace, or a child for a piece of fabric waiting for them to grow. That way they were able to do something in the field. Now these next 3 aligned cells that you see here, and that one opposite, they were reserved to the men during the slave trade, because there were more men coming here than anybody else, so they reserved 4 cells for them. This was an example. Let's go inside, please. So this was a typical cell reserved to the men. And in this very small cell, they used to keep between 15 to 20 men in chains. They were in chains on their hands and legs, back against the wall. They just used to sit back against the wall. You know, they were allowed only 1 time a day to use the toilet, and also they were feeding them only 1 time a day. Now imagine if they went to the toilet during the day, and at night if they had some needs, they were forced to do it right on the floor while everybody was here. That's why the living conditions in this house used to be so unthinkable, so inconceivable that many diseases came out of it. And also the death rate in this house used to be very high. But during slave trade, no slave was allowed to be sick. If some of them were sick, they would just take them out of the cell, tighten them, and throw them in the ocean without any questions. Because their concern was if they leave some sick slaves among the rest of the slaves, they might contaminate everybody, and they might end up losing everyone. That's the reason why they did not take any chance with any sick slave. Exactly. And that's the reason why this island back in the slavery days used to be sadly called the island of the sharks. Because the sharks finally came and resided around the island due to the tremendous amount of people they used to throw, so the sharks used to eat them. And also the sharks used to follow the boats which used to come all the way here to get slaves and follow them back, because along the way they used to throw some agonizing people, so the sharks used to eat them too. Now let's move to the next cell. This one was for the children. All the children who used to come to this house, this is where they used to keep them. You see? Stand there. Now, this was the cell reserved to the young girls. So this was the cell reserved to the young girls, especially the virgin young girls. You remember I was telling you that all the young girls who used to come here, they used to first check them in the waiting room to see if they were virgins or not. If they noticed they were virgins, this is where they used to keep them, because their prices were depending on their virginity, and the second reason was also upstairs was the guest house.
So they take them from here.
So while the guests were here, they used to come down anytime they want to. They will go in that corridor that you see over there. So from these openings, they used to check which girl they want to be with, and they will send the security guards to come and bring them out. So the guests, while they were here, they were buying the virginities of those young girls just to have fun with them until they leave this place.
But once they have slept with them, they're no longer virgins.
Exactly, but it
and
was
they
there.
throw them away.
Exactly, they used to throw them to the
Once they slept with
exactly, they slept with them, and then they used to keep them until they leave this place, or if they leave this place and the girl was not pregnant, they used to put them in the women's cell and sell them. If they were pregnant, they used to leave them free around the island until they had their babies. And when the baby was born, the baby used to automatically be the mother because they were signaras and mulattoes. Remember I was telling you, so they were able to be involved in the slave trade, buy, slave, be involved in the slave trade like everybody. Yes. And this here, and this was the temporary unfed cell. It's in this cell where they used to keep all the men slaves who were checked in the waiting room and who were not 60 kilos, which means who were not automatically qualified to be sold overseas. They used to keep them inside here for 3 months. While they were in this cell, they were eating by force. Whether they like it or not, they have to eat that way they can get a maximum of weight in a minimum of time. And the main food they used to give them while they were inside here was the black-eyed peas. You know the black-eyed peas? You know the black-eyed peas?
No.
It's some small beans with a black eye. And the body might be white, brown.
Yes,
Small beans, very small.
Yeah.
African beans.
okay. Usually they are black and brown.
Brown, exactly, yeah.
They are given for operational hunger.
Exactly. So it's it's
They are good
protein. It makes people get big very very early, like very quick. So they used to keep them here for 3 months and give them that food. And they used to mix the broiled black-eyed peas with some palm oil. So they used to mix them and then give them to the slaves. That way in 3 months they used to bring them back to the waiting room and recheck them. If they were 60 kilos and up, then they sell them overseas. But in case they were less than 60 kilos after staying here for 3 months, instead of selling them overseas, they used to sell them as domestic slaves here on the island or in St. Louis of Senegal, which were the 2 biggest towns back in Africa. Now this is the punishment cell. As you can see, if you go inside, you only can bend or sit down. All the slaves who were trying to bring some trouble to this house for punishment, this is where they used to put them. And their concern was not how many slaves they keep inside here for punishment. Their problem used to be how to close the iron and wooden door which used to be here. Sometimes they had so many slaves to punish that they had problems to close the door, so they had to force it. But the punishment used to last only 1 day, 2 days, at the most 3 days of punishment. And in 1991, the former South African President Nelson Mandela came here. So while he was visiting the slavery house, he wanted to go exactly inside here. But the protocol didn't want him to go. So he didn't care, he just got himself in. Alone, he stepped exactly inside the cell for 3 minutes and he came out. When he came out, his eyes were red. You see? Looks like he was crying inside. So when he came out, he stood right here in front of the door and said to people who was waiting for him, "This place makes me remember Robben Island where I was for 27 years." And he was very sad to hear that from Nelson Mandela that day.